What is up, everybody? Welcome to another fresh take. T, how you doing, man?
Hit fools and Wakanda forever.
Forever. So it's 243 in the States right now and 510 worldwide. We coming for that billion.
Oh, I'm seeing I'm on Box Office Mojo right now. I'm seeing 278.
Oh, snap.
So
So
yeah.
People. And by the way, this is spoiler field. So if you ain't seen it,
Get up out of here. You ain't gotta go home, but you might want to get up out of here.
Okay. So Black Panther, you got your first look at him in Captain America Civil War. Chadwick Boseman as the titular T'Challa, Prince of Wakanda in Civil War until 10 minutes into the movie.
I know, right?
But yeah. And the thing about this movie is it takes place like a week after Civil War. So they made a point to say that because that's the explanation as to why Cap ain't there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cap is getting his people out of the raft. If you saw the post-credit scene in Civil War, he goes to the raft and get his crew out. That happens while this story goes on.
Right.
Hence why he's not in Wakanda when all the stuff goes down.
But we see that he's going to be there from another trailer.
Yeah,
so
coming back.
Don't worry about that.
Yeah. More about that later.
Yeah.
But just in just a phrase, this is hashtag Black Excellence. For real. I mean, if you had a problem with Luke Cage because you said it was too black, you ain't seen too black, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to see all those actors, the extras. It was just a beautifully shot movie. Beautifully shot. It was just beautiful. I was blown away by how beautiful it was. Ryan Coogler and his entire team did a great job on the visual aspect of the film. They made Wakanda feel like a real breathing place. And yes, Wakanda is not real. Okay,
I've seen so many
go at it with somebody on Twitter about it.
There's been so much nitpicking around like Wakanda and how it exists, and I'm like, this is a superhero film. Like, if you're looking, you can't take it that literal.
Yeah.
It's just like it seems like it's only happened with this film. I wonder why that is, but go ahead.
Yeah, we'll get on that in a minute. But the thing is, it's a fictional country, and yes, it is based off a popular Marvel comic. So a lot of the stuff will be tied back to the comics. So, matter of fact, the way the movie opens out, I actually love the opening of the film with the CG where they actually go through and show the meteor hitting Wakanda, showing like the sand CGI of the different tribes, showing the Panther tribe actually getting the heart-shaped herb, eating it. And then they showed some stuff that I didn't really like that Wakanda was doing. Where you see like one of the Panthers see Africans getting boarded on ships in chains, and he turns his back and walks back into into Wakanda.
Yeah.
That was kind of jacked up, but it set the tone for the movie.
And it's like they didn't have to do that. Like,
yeah,
they could have danced around that, but I'm so glad that they did do it because, like you said, it set the tone for the rest of the film. It took its world, it took itself more seriously than you would expect from a movie like this.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing that the movie did. The themes in this movie, while there are a lot of them, they do a good job of tying everything together. Most times, I know you've heard on when we do reviews that they leave too many plot holes, there's too many themes. There were a lot of themes in this movie. There's a lot of plot threads. They tied the majority of them up.
Yeah, this was a solid all-around film. There was nothing, because I listened to again, I listened to part of it because I was just complete nonsense. But one of those naysayer reviews I listened to. And I got through maybe 2 minutes of it. I'm going to tell you why. Because it starts off, the guy's complaining about, like we just talked about, Wakanda and how it was terrible. It's not believable that they would just, right outside their walls, there's people starving half to death. And it's just like, they addressed that right in the beginning. Were you watching the movie? They addressed that. And that was the theme of the film, that they shouldn't be that way. Did you watch the same movie? But anyway, we'll get into it.
Yeah. Let it be known that a few years back, there was the infamous Sony hack. Amy Pascal, who was the Sony VP of Sony Movies, I think, at the time, she had a little email that went out talking about black actors, a particular black actor, and how he doesn't sell overseas.
Yeah. One of the greatest of our time.
This weekend.
Not just black actors, but one of the greatest actors of our generation, of our time. So,
hey, Amy, I want you to check them numbers this weekend. Tell me how you think.
Actually, she's working at a car wash right now, so she ain't got time to do that.
Yeah, check them numbers and get back to it. Get back to people. I will say this. My people showed up.
Yeah, we did.
They showed out.
Mm-hmm.
We bought our theaters, and it's still going strong.
Yeah, and we didn't show up just because it's a black movie.
No,
there's been terrible. Again, I think we talked about it before about Red Tail, and that movie is terrible. And we didn't show up for it because it wasn't a good movie. It's not just, this isn't just a tribal thing. Black people just gonna show it because it's a black film.
No,
because if that was the case, like all our movies would do great, and they don't. So
yeah, I mean, we just being honest. Like
right,
and a lot of the hype for it came by word of mouth.
Right.
People were hyping this movie up last year and hadn't seen not one trailer.
I was seeing Twitters and Facebooks and all that kind of stuff going on way before a trailer was dropped. So
everybody saw the memes after Civil War came out. Everybody saw the memes of this how we rolling up to the theater when Black Panther come out. That was before they even started filming.
Right. So
it's one of those things where I think it's one of those. I know people been using the term game changer. I ain't gonna use that, but I do.
Yeah, I'm not gonna use that.
Yeah, I do think it's one of those films that it's gonna make people think.
Yeah, like because you got to look at the context. I mean, this is a Marvel film, and it's a character that was built up in Civil War, so people are familiar with them. It also leads to other Marvel films, so it's helped by all those things. You can't just throw out a movie called I don't know, Black Majestic, and it had to do well just because it might not have even if it was a great movie, it might not have done well. So it's also the fact that it's under the Marvel Disney mantra that helps it to sell. Yeah, but that didn't help it to review well and do what it's done right.
Yeah, well, I think one of the main things that helped it was that cast that they assembled.
That cast, that director.
Yeah. I have nothing but good things to say about that cast, dude. At the end of the day, they probably got the best black actors in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. But I want to say it was good to see a movie with a lot of black people in it that I didn't instantly recognize. Like you recognize them here and there. Some of them, oh yeah, she was in that in a small bit role, whatever. But it was so many black people. Like you have black people get more opportunities that wouldn't have gotten it before. Like you see more. Because you always see. When there's a quote unquote black film, you always see the same cast of characters. You got your Morgan Freemans, you got your, you always see. But you didn't really have that. I mean, you had Forrest Whitaker, obviously,
and Angela
Bassett. But outside of that, there weren't no big actors in this. You know what I'm saying? That well-known, established big actors.
I would say
up and comers,
but I think like
up and comers.
A lot of actors from like TV shows.
Yeah, TV shows. Yeah, like I said, up and comers.
Yeah, up and comers.
That haven't made the cycles in big films at all, or some of them not even small films. So that was good to see. and they played their roles well. So let's get into that.
Yeah. So let's start off. I'm gonna start with my favorite character from the movie. M'Baku, man.
M'Baku. M'Baku surprised me.
M'Baku is that dude, man. M'Baku's that road dog. He the dude you need on your team. He's the backup. And I'm sorry, but did every member of the Jabari play for the New England Patriots?
Those some big dudes.
Even the woman that they showed like 2 women at the end.
Yeah, like, the chicks were huge. I'm like, dang,
God dang, man.
What are they eating on your side of Africa? Yeah.
Y'all are not vegetarians. Somebody lied.
He said he was a vegetarian. I was like, that's funny. That was funny. There's no way you can get that big eating vegetables, boy. Not just vegetables.
280 pounds solid. Come on, man. But M'Baku, because in the comics, M'Baku's, I don't want to call him a villain because he's not really a villain.
Yeah, he's kind of an anti-hero. Not never a hero, but he's kind of he's not quote unquote traditional good guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy that thinks he can rule better.
Right.
I'll put it like that. He's got.
He doesn't have bad intentions. Yeah. He just has bad intentions if you really like Black Panther, if you really like T'Challa, or
you endanger his tribe.
Oh, exactly.
Because you don't want to have to deal with that dude.
Yeah, he's serious about his tribe.
Yeah, you really don't want to have to deal with that dude. Your favorite character? There's a lot of them.
It's a lot. Like, it's hard to pick. It's hard to pick. What's his sister's name?
Jury.
Yes, I loved her. I loved her. You know what I loved about this movie overall?
What?
Speaking of her especially, is that this wasn't, obviously this was a Marvel movie, but it wasn't your typical Marvel comedy BS.
No, it was
She
not.
was funny, but she was in character funny. You never seemed like she was quipping, even though she kind of was.
She was putting people in check.
Right, she was just a funny person, and that's another thing about T'Challa himself. Like almost every other Marvel movie, maybe not Captain America, the lead superhero is riffing. He's a comic. He's kind of a what do you call it? He's what's the word I'm looking for? Not egotistical, but like what's the word? He's like really about himself, and he's kind of a little bit self-centered, but that's not really the word I'm looking for. Cocky, that's the word I'm looking for. He's really like all the Marvel superheroes, to me, a lot of them come off really cocky and like, they're ripping one-liners and whatnot. T'Challa wasn't about that. Like, he was a stoic dude like he's supposed to be. He wasn't dropping one-liners. He said funny-ish things, but like I said about Thor, how I felt Thor should be, that's how T'Challa was. He's kind of a stoic guy, and he's not in the know about everything, and sometimes comedy comes out of that. His sister seemed more hip than him, you know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, what are those? She was very hip, and I like the fact that he wasn't completely overly hip, and that made her stand out better, stand out more, and I loved her.
Well, I will say this, like, going by just fans, they love her.
Yeah. I think a lot of people seem to like her a lot.
Yeah, they really have got attached to that character. Another character, I'm gonna go and talk about a little bit about Killmonger, the villain, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, what am I saying? Say I wanted to save him, but yeah, go ahead.
The reason why I got to bring him up, because as a Marvel aficionado, I like Marvel. Y'all know I like Marvel and DC. Y'all know I ain't biased like that. But the thing about the DC movies, they tend to have the better villains.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the truth. Marvel, they have the better heroes because the heroes actually want to be heroes.
Right.
So, but this one, Killmonger, the way Michael B. Jordan played Killmonger, you understood where he was coming from, especially, and I know a lot of people ain't going to hear this, but especially if you Black, you understand exactly where he's coming from.
You know why? Because he was 100% right.
Right. Yeah. He was
He
right.
was not wrong.
But they did a good job of letting you know why he's the villain, because he took it too
He went about
far.
it the wrong way.
Yeah.
He went about resolving the issue the wrong way.
Yeah.
And that is human. This movie humanized people that aren't human.
Yeah.
Superheroes and supervillains. And speaking of, did Michael B. Jordan also eat where M'Baka ate? Because
I don't know.
He looked diesel.
Well, he got to be, because they shooting Creed 2 right now. So I mean,
okay, I'm like, he's
going
definitely bigger than he was in Creed. Like, he got big for Creed.
Yeah,
but he looks bigger in this. I'm like, yo, bruh.
Like, I know you got to fight Ivan Drago's son, but damn.
I know, right? Like, but that's another thing. Again, anti-Marvel, you know, what you typically get is I'm the villain of the week. I'm angry. You know, you don't get a whole lot out of him. And he is the first one. Dare I say, he's one of the best superhero villains I've ever seen on film. Because, like I said, he was right. He wasn't wrong about how he felt and why he felt that way. He was wrong about how to resolve it, but he was not wrong. And he wasn't just some, you know, cookie cutter, I'm the bad guy. Yeah. And he was so good, man. He was more interesting as a character than Black Panther was. Yeah. Because he didn't have an arc. Black Panther didn't really have an arc. You know?
He didn't. And I kind of want
fine.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Like, people are saying, like, T'Challa was not interesting. I'm like, well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like, T'Challa, if you read the comics, he acts like that in the comics.
Right. That's how he is. I mean,
that's just how he is.
He's just a stoic dude. That's just, and he has to be. He's a king, you know?
Yeah. Like it's the people around him. Like, the only time he's not like that in the comics is when he's interacting with the crew, with his crew.
What was he going to change on?
Luke Cage, Misty Knight, Storm, and Falcon. That's his crew. When he's around them, he doesn't act like that. Right. But anytime he's in Wakanda or he acts stoic. He doesn't. The characters around him are way more interesting in the comic. So I like that they did it right, because it took it straight from the comic.
I mean, and here's the thing. Because of the Marvel setup, there was no way to give him an arc. His arc would have started with his father dying. Well, we had that in Civil War. Yeah. You know? So we couldn't have that. We couldn't have him like being kind of naive and then having to take over and learn how to be king. We couldn't have that because, you know, he was set up in Civil War. So that would have been his arc, you know. But we, like I said, we couldn't have it. But there was a chance for them to do something a little bit else, and that's going to be one of my nitpicks. My quote unquote negatives of the film, but you know, we'll get into that. Get to the
negatives.
Yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah. Before we get to the negatives, we're gonna get to that, but we got to talk about our favorite scenes. Now, I don't know what yours is, but I have two, and one of them, there's a James Bond sequence in here.
Well, that's mine.
Okay. Well, I'll let you say that one in.
I think that's a lot of people's favorite scene.
Yeah. I'll let you talk about that one in. I'll go to this one in. Warrior Falls. The way they do the day of the challenge day, when he first gets back to Wakanda and it's, you know, time for his coronation, he has to go through a rite of passage, which basically any of the other tribes of Wakanda can challenge him for the kingship. He has to do this without his abilities as Black Panther.
I heard people complaining about that too. Not a lot of people, but I heard a couple of people saying that didn't make sense for them because, you know, their technology and why would they do such a primitive thing? I'm like, why is that less? Why is that less than what we have as a government? I would actually look forward to that. Where people will challenge each other and battle. And the
you got to be able to protect. I mean, that's the whole point.
Exactly. So I just, I haven't heard.
I don't understand. Like, if you don't understand, history, or you don't understand, because I've been doing some reading for the past year and a half into Africa. They still do rites of passage to this day.
Here's the thing: we still have kings and queens in England. It's different, you know. We still have king, queen, prince. We still have that. What do you call it? The monarchy. Yeah, they're not as powerful as they used to be, but they still exist. People still look up to them. So it's like why is there something wrong with? Yeah, of course, Wakanda is a very civilized nation, even though they put out that they're not. They're a very civilized nation. They have all this great technology, but because of that, they're not supposed to keep up with their rituals. Like, I don't understand. Religion still does it. Like, like it doesn't. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Yeah. That's people. I think that's
more nitpicky stuff.
But yeah, the way they shot that scene though, where like you had the people standing on the different cliff heads, even the way they shot it up to getting up to that point where they made it like a celebration.
Right.
That was beautiful. And then, you have like no other tribe wanted to, they all accepted the fact that, T'Challa was going to be their king, except the Jabari tribe.
Yep.
Whereas I like to call them the Q dogs. The African Omega Psi Phis. They showed up, and of course and that what made the scene like that much more beautiful, because you have like M'Baku's guard, you have the Dora Milaje, they all closing in on both of them, and they're on the side of this cliff. And you're like, okay, y'all on the side of this cliff. If one of y'all slip, y'all both going over.
Yeah, you're done. You both done. Way out. And then what?
Like, this is gonna be like a messed up kingship if both of y'all die. What do y'all call it, a draw?
Little sis has to take over, I guess, at that point.
I mean, it looks like it's a long way down.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shot in and of itself, that whole sequence, I thought was just done beautifully. Beautifully. So I know you want to talk about Stan Lee stealing T'Challa's chip, so.
Well, I mean, that was just beautiful to me. That scene was great because I'm a huge Bond fan, and that was the casino scene, and it was great.
It was perfect.
It was perfectly set up. It had emotional weight. There was a reason for it happening instead of the casino scene from The Last Jedi, which was a complete waste of my time. Had no emotional weight or no point in the picture itself. It's easily to call that my favorite scene because it flowed very well, very well acted, and like I said, it had weight to it. There was a reason for everything you were seeing. It wasn't just like, oh, look at this cool stuff, and it's easily my favorite scene.
Well, and it's also like, I know that they put that clip out that of a certain part of it. It's a long scene.
Yeah.
It's not a little 2 minute. No, it's a very long sequence that is beautifully done.
I'm confused. How did they make what's her name? Like why did they make her when they realized, what's his name's Claw's crew saw her, and right away they knew, it seemed like right away they knew who she was, and then they started attacking her.
I don't know. I think because she spoke Wakandan when.
I missed something there.
She spoke Wakandan to Nakia. And when dude heard it,
that's when she said, "Oh, I just got made."
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And that's when she took the wig off and proceeded to
she threw the wig. She just took the wig off. She whipped that thing into his face.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I know a lot of people are talking about how the strong female characters in here. Let me tell y'all something. If a lot of black people, we know this. That's the house. That's at home.
And I saw that. I don't know which chick it was, but she was also in Wonder Woman. She was one of the
Florence Kasumba, Ayo.
Okay, yeah.
She was in Civil War. She was the one that was one of
Civil War. Yeah, she was the one I love from Civil War.
Yeah, when that sequence from the comic when Black Widow was talking trash.
Like, whew.
Yeah, move or you will be moved, and they didn't show the whole sequence. I'm like, y'all should show that.
She's got her body type. She's got a stance. That will put together a female right there. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
She scared me when she said. I was like, I'm moving on. Let me.
You in the theater? You moving? You move the shelf? Like, yeah, all right, I'm out the way.
Move or you will be moved. Woo.
Yeah,
love it.
And that's the thing. Like the way they did like the Dora Milaje,
The Dora Milaje were great.
They were great. They were awesome, and like, it wasn't. They didn't do. They didn't. It wasn't one of them situations where it was like they're better than men. They didn't do that.
No, it wasn't about that.
They did not do that.
Nope.
It was very okay. This is like they are protectors of the throne. That's what they do. Mm-hmm. They are loyal to Wakanda. That's what they do.
Yeah, and this, they. How old is Black Panther? Like the comic book. Like this isn't, this isn't a modern setup. This wasn't like, oh, we did this for woman empowerment or anything.
This has been since at least the Christopher Priest run.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it was never. It's not meant to be a political statement. It's just these are tough chicks.
Yeah, these are these, and that's what they do. And there is a sequence at the end where you get to see them how they fight.
Mm.
There was I was telling a friend of mine about like one of the Avengers comics where I read where two of the Dora Milaje actually took down Hulk, and like dude was like, man, how in the world did they do that? They hit his pressure points. Turned him back into Banner.
Winner.
That's how trill they are. You don't run up on the door because it ain't that many of them.
Mm-mm.
It's only, I think in the comics, it's only like 100 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they can take out metahumans and mutants like it ain't nothing.
Yeah, they are
well trained
from birth and this stuff. So
they are well trained, and if you do take their weapon out of their hand, that don't mean nothing.
It means nothing.
Yeah, I wish a lot of y'all would read the comic book because y'all have no idea how trill the Dora Milaje really are.
Right, and that is actually part of my, again, quote unquote negatives, if you will. That we'll get into at some point, but because you don't know how trill they are. And I felt like this movie needed another 20 minutes.
You did too? You did too?
Yeah. I felt like it needed another to flesh out some stuff. Like,
let's go on.
Are we going to get into it? Let's get into it. All right. So we're going to start from the beginning.
Yeah.
We're talking about how much this movie cost to make. Let's
200. I think it was like 205 or something like that.
200 million. We had a $200 million movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
That opens, not counting the CG backstory stuff. Basically, it opens in South Central LA with gangster music.
Too short, baby.
With too short. I'm like, yo, this is different, people.
Yeah.
And again, a $200 million movie. And I love that. But you know what I would have loved a little bit more? If they delved into it a little bit more. Maybe you got to see the heist, or at least they ran back to the crib after the heist. Or I think they were getting ready to go.
They were getting ready to go.
Right. So I don't know how you could have maybe tweaked that a little bit, maybe. But that would have been cool. Like, I just wanted a little bit more meat on the bone. And that is one thing. And like we talked about the Dora Milaje, it would have been nice to see them training and get a little bit more about them and how, you get to actually learn how proficient they are. It would have took much, 2 to 5 minute sequence with them. And one of my, again, negatives is when Killmonger and T'Challa fought the first time.
Okay, the first time. Okay.
It didn't feel like there was enough. Was it just me? Like, I felt like it happened too quickly.
Well,
like he got bested too easily.
I see where you're going with that one, but I think that was from a tonal standpoint because you got to remember T'Challa had just found out what really happened.
Right.
So I think the way they were trying to go for.
I'm totally with you. I know what you're saying. You're saying he was.
I think that's what they were trying to go for. But I do feel where you're coming from.
They didn't land that good enough. I guess I should say that.
Yeah.
He wasn't.
They didn't show it well.
He wasn't visually broken enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, he shouldn't do this fight. Because when he went into the fight, I was like, okay, he's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna do this.
He shouldn't have been fine. He shouldn't have seemed fine.
Yeah.
So they should have gave it a little bit more weight as far as what was on his shoulders at the time of it happening. Like maybe even during the fight, he should have been flashing to like what happened to Killmonger, and that would have been bothering him, and his dad speaking to him about about how what happened, like all that stuff. And excuse me, are you telling me that dude that was with what's his uncle's name, the one that got killed,
Najobu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You telling me that kid that was with him was Forrest Whitaker?
Dude, you didn't tell by the eye? The eye was messed up.
I got that, but he didn't look. It was physically a little different. It was hard, a little bit hard for me to swallow.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
Yeah, I mean that. And my last gripe was, I guess it's kind of major, but not really, is CG Black Panther on CG Black Panther.
That's my main one. I
kind of check out, when I see two CG characters fighting each other.
Well, here's my problem.
Very Spider-Man-like.
Yeah. Here's my problem with that. Like, that my main gripe was that, like, people were complaining about the CG. I thought the CG was fine.
I thought the CG was fine up until that moment.
Until you go into the Vibranium Mountain on the tram. When it got on the tram, it didn't look right.
It looked so studio-ish, so green screen, like it didn't look right.
Now, when the Dora Milaje was fighting Killmonger,
please let's see more of that.
That looked great.
Yeah.
That when Nakia was fighting Killmonger,
he was fighting him.
That looked great. When Shuri's fighting Killmonger,
exactly.
But when T'Challa jumps him when he's trying to kill Shuri, and they fall into that Vibranium Mountain on the tram, it just looks bad at that point. So I'm thinking it was just too much CG in there, the way they were doing it, because you could tell like they were actually outside.
They were on full green screen for for that fight, the tram fight. It's just like full green screen. You got full green. Oh my bad.
Yeah, but up above you could actually tell they were outside.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened with that. But yeah, that's my main gripe, because I'm like, dude, it just looked bad.
Yeah, it just looked bad. Like, it's like they cut some corners. They ran out of the budget a little bit on that scene. Because then you have full green screen, or not even full green screen. We're talking full CG shot, full CG scene where you have two CG characters fighting each other, and I was kind of checked out, and I shouldn't have been, because that was a big moment. This is the big bad fighting the big good, and it's like I can't. It's like watching Incredible Hulk at the end with Hulk fighting Abomination. It's just like this isn't doing anything for me.
Well, so, I think it would have been better if they would have left it like it was in the comics, where like Killmonger never put the suit on.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like I was hoping. That's what I was. That's what I was hoping for. Yes, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
You got two, basically evenly matched CG characters fighting each other. People are just gonna check out. Like, I wanted some emotion, because that was an emotional fight. It should have been more. And they have masks on, so you can't see any stress in their face. Like that was Ryan Coogler's one misstep. Like I said, we had little gripes with other things, but that was his one big misstep, where he didn't think to say, well, this is a big emotional fight. We want to kind of see these guys' face and them stressing and their strain and their emotion. You can't see that when they got a big cat mask on their face.
Yeah.
So
I will say this, because one thing that he did bring from Creed is, because if you watch Creed,
I was gonna say that. Go ahead.
The way Coogler films his fight sequences are a thing of beauty, because it's the shot is going on, everything's going on, but the camera moves to each location.
Yeah, it moves.
It never stops. It's fluid.
It's like a one shot. It's a one shot.
Yeah,
which is not, obviously there was some CG in this. Actually, if you add in CG, it makes it even tougher.
Yeah.
It's actually easier to do a one shot, all in camera. But when you have CG elements and stuff, that makes it tougher. So when he did that in Creed, it was just amazing, because you don't see that kind of filmmaking anymore. You don't see that kind of craftsmanship in a shot these days.
Well, he did it in the casino.
Oh yeah, he did in Casino. Yeah, that's where.
The casino scene. That was that's what I'm saying. It's a long. The scene is long.
It's long, yeah, and then it goes into a chase. So
yeah, and that's one of the things. Now, you know what we hadn't talked about. Bilbo and Gollum, man.
It's so weird that they're both.
Yeah. And
I didn't even think about that until like halfway through the movie. I was like, wait a minute, that's Bilbo. And that's, obviously that's Gollum.
They weren't bad.
No, they weren't.
I mean, if I did have another gripe, it'd be like, I didn't want them to kill Claw.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I didn't want them to kill Claw.
Okay. Oh, you see, you just brought up another flaw I had with the movie. And to me, it's kind of a hole, but not really. Maybe you can talk me off of this one.
Okay.
Why? I mean, I guess because Claw was set up, and obviously he's a character in Black Panther. He's part of the comics and stuff. But it's like, what was the point of him? Because why did Killmonger even rock with him? He didn't need him. Yeah, he knew his whole, but didn't he already know his whole story? And like he could have just went and challenged Black Panther anyway.
He had to get in.
But didn't he already know where it was? And
yeah, he needed a body.
Oh, okay. So he needed a body to prove.
Yep.
Okay.
What's the quickest way to get in?
I knew I was missing something. I was like, "There's no way."
You bring the guy who killed a lot of them family members. Because who's the first person that he saw when he got to the border?
The minute he started messing with Claw was just a body to him. He was just a body. He was softening him up and waiting for the right moment. Anyway. Right.
Now the person you're concerned about is why they killed Nightshade.
Yeah. See, now
Nightshade is a major Black Panther villain.
Yeah.
Because all we saw her do was poison the curator.
Yeah, what was it with that?
And she got shot.
She got smoked.
Yeah, by her man.
She was pretty dead. I mean, she had the staring eyes on, so that means you're dead usually.
Really dead.
Yeah. So that was what my guess is that they're not going to be able to explore that in any of the movies anyway. So it's just like, here's that character. You give her something to do, and she's gone. Kind of like in Batman vs Superman, where they killed Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen.
Peace.
They didn't even let me say that man's name.
You didn't even know his name. Unless you watch the ultimate cut. Right. You didn't even know that was Jimmy Olsen. Like, what?
That theatrical cut, he just got shot.
That was just a dude who got shot. So I understand it in that context. So they're never going to be able to explore her character in the movies anyway. So they just like, we'll get in and get out. And, nobody ever really dies in comic book movies and stuff anyway. So.
And okay, so we talked about the good. We talked about the unfortunate of the
20 more minutes.
I'm calling the unfortunates.
25 more minutes to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just I meant to say this in my 25-minute rant. Not really rant, but I wanted more of Wakanda and how it worked. Because you got to see these kind of sweeping, broad shots.
Oh, you want to see more of the country?
But, yeah, I would have liked to have seen like more interaction from the people, and
you want to see the other two hidden cities,
right?
Okay, I think they're saving that for part 2.
Maybe. Okay, I can rock with that.
I honestly think that's what because you couldn't give everybody because like they don't even name the city they were in. That's the Golden City for y'all that don't know. That's the main city. That's the capital. But there's 2 more hidden cities.
Right.
The reason why the world thinks they're a bunch of goat herders is because that's all they let you see. Mm-hmm. The cities, they have 3 main cities. All those cities are hidden. Right. They're just hidden. You can't really get to them unless you already know where it's at. That's the only way you'll get to it. But I think they're saving that for the sequel. Also, I think they're saving Angela Bassett for the sequel too, because I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, okay, hold on. Ramonda is like was one of the baddest Dora Milaje members ever. Mm-hmm. She would have been there.
Yeah, she was. Yeah. See, you reminded me of something else. This is also part of my slight gripe. Well, not slight gripe, but I think they should have added more meat. Like, here's the thing. When he went over the cliff, when he went over the falls, I mean, we all knew he wasn't dead, obviously, because we saw him in another trailer for a movie that comes out after this. So, and when they got to what's in Baka's tribe, when they got to the Jabari, I was like, well, Black Panther's gonna be there.
Yeah.
And I was right, and I didn't like being right about that. But what I would have liked, again, they would have had to add more. And who knows, Ryan Coogler, knowing him, he probably wanted this stuff too.
Yeah, but they
you know, he probably got some pushback. You know,
they probably had to keep it on time.
Had to keep it at a certain time, right? I totally get that. Studios, they have the final say with that. But I would have liked to have seen because what happened with M'Baku and T'Challa at the beginning. I would have liked to have seen them interacting a little bit more as he was kind of, or not interacting. That's not the right word because they found him. He was basically unconscious, about to die.
Yeah.
Maybe they couldn't really do that. So never mind. Never mind, because it wouldn't have flowed the same. It would have kind of.
They tried to do that when he woke up.
Yeah, it was kind of quick, but
yeah, because because that's another one of my favorite lines in M'Baku. He's like, "Are you done?" And they kept. It was a real emotional moment. They were all happy.
Yeah.
And then you just see this big dude sitting in the chair, like, "Are you done?" Oh my goodness, y'all still going? Like, bro, man, come on, dude. But if there's one thing that we need to agree on,
here's the thing: he had a chance to take over. He could have been like, "Yeah, your son's dead," but he didn't want it like that because he has honor.
Yeah, he wanted to beat him head up. Head up is how he wanted to do it.
Right. And that was really good stuff.
Yeah, that was really respect thing. And your boy Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out, bruh. Sometimes you need to holler at your sadistic, crazy ruler.
I want to slap his mama
and tell him, like, dude, look, man, bro, that's my wife, man. Come on, man, you gotta tone that down.
Right.
Man, I gotta go home. Like, you ain't gotta go home to her tonight. I do. Like, this dude went from the sunken place to the doghouse.
Like that.
I'm like, bro, all you had to do was just be like, "Hey, Killmonger, man, let me holler at you for a minute, folk."
I understand what you're trying to do here. I understand. I'm
down.
But I look over there.
Yeah. You see how mad she getting?
I can't do this.
I gotta go home today. Man, you heard what I said, dude, bro. Don't make me slap you. You heard, look at her face.
I loved how street he was too. He was such a juxtaposition to where he was. Killmonger. He was such a he clashed so much with that culture, that African culture.
He just didn't care
with his kind of hood, mentality. Yeah. It was great.
Well, I think that's the other thing that like I said, if you watch this movie, you're gonna agree with him for the majority of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
Until you see where he's going way too far.
Yeah, he just definitely takes it too far. And it's like, you're a smart guy. You've done all this stuff to get you to this point. And to me, it's kind of stupid that you want to basically go all out war with everybody. You ain't got it like that, know. As great as Wakanda is,
they still just a tiny country.
Right. They're a tiny country in the middle of a huge continent. And if everybody converge on y'all, y'all you are done. I don't care what you got.
Yeah.
So
and that's the point, because like a lot of people have been saying like, oh well, they're isolationists. I'm like, for a very good reason.
Yeah,
because
people to get hold of those weapons and that.
Yeah,
like look what happens.
Think of all the stuff Shuri made.
Oh my gosh!
And now you get a country like you get some of these big countries, because all they would have did was it would have been America, China, Russia. Yeah. They all would have jumped them.
It would have. Hey, it ain't like they ain't raid Africa before.
Yeah. So that one, and when because I remember a long time ago they had like a map, and they did a fictitious of how small Wakanda is. Wakanda ain't no big country.
No, it's not.
It ain't the size of. It's not Egypt or something like that. It's a small country. So you look at that, and then you have all these forces coming. They would never win.
Everybody converge on you, like
and that's what would have happened, which is why. Like when you see it, you're like, okay, dude, you need to. I know you mad, but you need to calm your nerves, bro.
There's a better way to get to where you want to get.
Yeah, and there's another scene. And I'm gonna say this right before we do our give our rating, but there's a scene where Killmonger goes to his version of the Greenbelt, and he sees his dad, and I think a lot of people aren't gonna get Pay attention to why his father is crying.
Oh yeah.
Pay attention to it because in the movie, like Killmonger had never seen him cry.
Right.
Pay attention to why he's crying, and you'll understand. Like that sequence, and then the sequence where T'Challa goes back to the Greenbelt and pretty much just goes off. It gives it like, okay, I understand now. Like what Killmonger's dad was trying to do, he still loved Wakanda. Killmonger don't care about Wakanda.
Don't care about it. Nope.
The only time he cared about Wakanda was the very end, which is actually a very beautiful shot.
Yeah, that was good stuff.
Yeah.
I have to mention that. That was
that shot and the line that he says.
That line.
I'm like, God dang, bro.
It's like, I don't want to see this dude go out.
Yeah, I really don't, but you gotta go because you crazy. Yeah. You got to go. I mean,
you want a guy like that on your side, but he's too crazy.
Yeah, he's a little bit too. Yeah, he's unhinged. But oh yeah, and before you, please do not leave this theater. There are 2 post-credit scenes, so you might need to see those.
I'm gonna be tripping with that. Started off with 1, now they got to do 2.
Hey, look, Guardians of the Galaxy was worse.
Yeah,
he did like 10. Just to people.
It just kept going.
Yeah, he's like, I'm getting up trying to leave. He done did 3 more. So, okay, man. Y'all probably know what I'm gonna give it. So.
All right, your verdict, sir. Mine is I'm hovering like I feel like it's better than a B+. I'm just gonna give it an A. I'm gonna give it a solid A. It approached greatness, and like I said, those little things that could have made it great. Like a lot of people are talking about, oh man, it was so boring in the middle. I like that middle stuff.
The middle stuff was fine.
That gave it. Stuff was that gave it the weight. That gave it that whole Shakespearean storyline. Like when I hear that, I hear people that only care about action scenes. And to me, the action scenes weren't as strong as I would have liked. Like they weren't bad.
Yeah,
they just weren't like they didn't match up to the story to me. You know what I'm saying? Like it didn't match up to the weight of the story. So I'll give it an A. I'll give it a solid A. And it was so close to being like greatest superhero movie, that kind of thing. But it just missed the mark in a couple of things for me. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I will say this. This movie is in my top 5 Marvel movies. It's actually in my top 3. I will also say this.
Gosh. I didn't even rate it as far as that goes. It's definitely in my top 3.
I will also say this. It's not a perfect film. Mm-mm. But I'd be damned if it wasn't important.
Oh yeah, it's definitely important.
The themes wasn't on point.
Yeah,
and I'd be damned if some of y'all ain't gonna be uncomfortable.
See, I don't. When I see people that get upset that people are happy, especially like black people are happy to see this kind of thing, I just think you're an a-hole. Like when I feel like
What's going on in your life?
What is wrong with you?
Yeah,
that you're upset that black people are happy to have a major film, $200 million movie with a huge, black cast. Why can't you understand why that's important to us? Why that means something to us? When we're not used to having that. And then they start pointing out all these other little movies with black. That's not the same as this. No. This is very different from what's the
Blade?
Movie? Blade. This is very different
from Blade. From Blade. I can't stand when people use the Meteor Man, Blank Man.
Like seriously?
Like Blade, I'll give you that.
They made Meteor Man with $10. They made Meteor Man with like $10.
Yeah. And Blank Man, that was a skit from In Living Color.
It wasn't even serious. That was like a comedy film. That wasn't. Yeah. This is a huge budget, big name studio behind it movie with black people everywhere. Like that. Why are you threatened by that? Like I'll go watch Batman vs Superman and the white people everywhere. I don't get threatened. Yeah. Like I don't understand.
I seen Ant-Man.
By that. I watch all these other films that there's a couple of black people sprinkling here and there, but it happens way more often. And to me, it comes off as a-holishness, entitlement.
Yep.
And like I would be congratulating people for
I'd be happy.
being happy about this kind of. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, me personally, I'd be happy, but some people just, it's telling about you as a person. Actually, it's really telling about you as a person. Some of y'all don't realize that.
Yeah, it's talking about you as a person.
I'm just saying, some of y'all really don't, especially y'all on Facebook. Y'all really need to.
I had to unsubscribe somebody today who I just didn't realize because not because he didn't like the movie. That's fine. Okay, he don't like the movie, but he went into all this political stuff about the movie, and I'm like,
and half time they be wrong when they be doing that too. By the way, but whatever.
It's not political, and like I didn't know you felt this way.
Yeah,
I got to get up out of here. And I'm like, I just don't understand
positivity going.
Yeah, I don't understand that. Like, this movie isn't pushing some agenda.
Nope, it really ain't. If anything, it's inspiring people to learn more about their roots.
And Wakanda did not look good. Wakanda wasn't some we're stoic. It's a stoic country or whatever, but it wasn't like some unblemished, untouchable. No. They showed the blemishes. That's what made this story good. It's the fact that
it looked like a real place.
It was a real place. It's like, hey, we have all this stuff, and we turned our backs on the slave trade, and we turned our backs on the people starving and stuff. And so that's it. They had flaws. It wasn't like some Mary Sue crap. It wasn't like, I don't know. I just,
I completely agree. Because like I said, I've seen some stuff where I'm just like, okay, I can understand you not liking the film. That's because that's subjective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fine. I have no problem with you not liking the movie. I can roll with that. That's fine.
Don't sit up and make up nonsense.
Yeah,
that's just because it really makes you look bad. And like I said, people are gonna come out of this movie inspired. They're gonna come out of this movie wanting to learn more about Africa. They're gonna come out of this movie actually doing research, because one of the things is that a lot of people don't know this, but Ryan Coogler has been trying to get a Mansa Musa movie done for the longest, but nobody in Hollywood would, back it. Why? Because number one, he was unknown, and he had no he didn't have a resume. He made Fruitvale Station. That was profitable. He made Creed. They gave him a little bit more money with Creed. Mm-hmm. That was profitable.
And it was a good film.
And it was a very good. The movies that he's done.
Yeah, his movies are all good films. Yeah.
And now he does this that just shattered the 4-day record. The only record it hadn't beat was the one set by Force Awakens.
Right, which is going to be tough for anybody.
Yeah, that's just going to be ridiculous.
There's so much build up for that movie.
But it's like it's one of the fastest movies to 500 million worldwide. It beat out. And I hate this. I hate to do this because I actually enjoyed that movie, but it's the truth of what happened. It made more in 3 days than Justice League made in this whole run, and I like Justice League.
Yeah, me too.
I like Justice League, and it made more in its whole run. It made more in 3 days than Justice League did in its whole U.S. run.
Yeah, there was so much stumbling before Justice League; it had no chance.
Yeah. So I mean. Me personally, I'm going back to see it again. Because
me too.
I just am. This is one of those movies I think, especially as a comic book nerd as myself, it's just nice to see. I said it when Luke Cage came out. I'm like, look, Luke Cage comes out and does well, we get Black Lightning. This movie does well. DC, you know what people want. You know what people want. Just going to give it to them. Give them that static.
Don't play around. It's time.
Yeah, go give them that static.
You need that static, man.
You know what people want, and people been asking y'all that for years. So
yeah,
I don't know why y'all ain't listening. But
well, the problem, like we've talked about it before, is that DC doesn't have a studio.
Yeah,
it's Warner Brothers, and until they get it together, get serious enough, and put some money behind it and some real smart people behind it, then we're not going to see a lot of this stuff. So
yeah, that's unfortunately true. But this would hopefully make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, this should make it easier.
Because like I said, when we first started this, we show up. when the stuff good.
It's I'm like I
show
up for everything. I didn't just show up for this because it's black people. That's what kills me about some of these people that naysayers. It's like I show up for the white cast movies too. So why do you have a problem with me showing up? I just it pisses me off.
But I'm saying, like, as far as a whole, I think, like, when it comes down to it, if people are talking good about it, we show up.
Yeah.
Which is what happened this weekend. I've never seen this before. Have you ever seen this before where you got celebrities buying out whole theaters?
No, I've not seen that. The energy and the fervor behind this movie before, like because when people got to see the early screenings or whatever, and you had the reviewers, they couldn't talk about it, they had embargoes and whatnot, but you could see the palpable joy in people like Black Nerd
coming out of that theater.
Like, they were so pumped, and I'm like, this thing is something special.
Like, when you got people crying, I'm talking about critics who normally hate everything. Not everything, everything.
And I think what we should do, especially in this situation, we shouldn't focus on those morons. Like, we should just be. We are happy. I mean, we are happy what we got to witness and what's going on with Black Panther, and just enjoy that. Roll with it. Let these people be mad on the sidelines. Who cares? And because as a kid, especially as a young Black kid, you didn't have this. Like, we didn't have these heroes. We had the Black exploitation guys. We had those guys were heroes, but we never had these like goody goods that were in these major movies. A Superman type of character that was Black. That's Black. Like, we haven't had that. So we were trying to enjoy that. Let us enjoy that. But same kind of stuff happened when Obama became president. People were upset that people were happy that a Black president. We got a so we're dealing with the same people, and these people, just gotta, move on from. You can't reason with them. They're just who they are.
Yeah, they're just ignorant. in that respect, and hopefully make some Black friends. That being said. I hope you guys enjoyed our spoiler-filled review. If you haven't had a chance to check it out and you want to, you can check it out. Does it tie into Infinity War? No. Does it? Do you get a good idea of being in a good place by the time Infinity War starts? Yes. So that's what you need to know about Infinity War.
I wonder if Infinity War starts in Wakanda or.
Well, we know Thanos is
going to be early on. It looks like it's going to be early on.
Yeah, we know Thanos is gunning for it. And yes, M'Baku, Shuri, and the Dora Milaje are in Infinity War.
Oh, boy.
So M'Baku going yeah.
So what do you think Infinity War is going to do, box office-wise? Like, especially with Black Panther propping it up?
Because this is what we've been waiting for since Avengers, it's going to do gangbusters.
It's going to do stupid money.
Yeah, because we've been waiting for Thanos to get there. And we've been waiting to see these heroes pretty much, I'm sorry, they're going to have to take the L on this one.
Yeah.
Because Thanos don't roll skimpy, he roll deep. And he got like 3 of the Infinity Stones off top. So,
yeah.
I mean, he ain't coming half-stepping. So,
nope.
I'm expecting it to do really well, but just because of the simple fact that, like, the people that have been watching this story unfold over the last 19 movies, we're about to get the payoff that we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
So yep, I think it's gonna do well personally. And I heard that we're supposed to get a new trailer soon.
Oh, cool.
Because
when is this, May?
When you think about it, it's May, and this they kind of need to do that.
Getting close.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna do great. I'm gonna take off that Friday as well, so I can watch it in peace. I done got used to taking off so I can watch a movie that I want to watch in peace when it first comes out. So because people are gonna be in school and at work, and I'm gonna be in the theater, so I'm looking forward to Infinity War just because I want to see how they do Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, Obsidian, Thane, all of those guys. So
it's gonna be great, man.
It's gonna be great. Wish Wolverine was in it, but Fox. So, and last but not least, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. Yes, Angela Bassett would have made a great Storm. You will see why in this film.
Man,
Fox, screw y'all.
Wasted potential.
I hate y'all so much. 20th Century Fox, what y'all did to my X-Men. But
if I can go back in time and make that happen,
yeah,
I'd do it in a heartbeat.
There's a reason why they make sure, and I think that was Kevin Feige like telling Coogler, "Hey, put that in there because I want everybody to see."
That's all. I couldn't stop thinking about Storm the whole movie. Like that's because
there is a particular scene
Panther and Storm get together. So
yeah, there's a particular scene where Angela Bassett takes the hat off, and you're gonna see why we were like
Storm.
Yeah.
Oh, after all these years, we finally got you.
Finally, you just can't say your name in Storm. So, but that does it for this one. Y'all go out and watch the movie. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment, a like, subscribe if you want to. We do all kind of stuff. We will be doing another trip down memory lane soon. So if you missed the last one, that would be the Very Gorgeous Last Dragon. So we're gonna do another 80s classic, an 80s gem, and take a look at that. And we'll see you guys on the next vid. Peace out. Wakanda forever.
Wakanda forever.